Of all of the dungeon guides that I've blasted inside of Raid Shadow Legends, there is one dungeon that we've neglected the hell out of. It is the Iron Twins Fortress. Let's make it easy, let's make it super simple, let's provide some mega budget champions that you can use to farm all the way up to stage 15, no matter what affinity this sucker is on. A quick word on that actually, my view, unless you can farm at least stage 14, ideally all the way up to stage 15 in Iron Twins Fortress, you shouldn't really think about farming any affinity that isn't void, right? Magic, force, spirit, all of those, you can kind of just leave them alone until you're able to farm stage 15. Even then, I know some people don't farm stage 15 and don't spend their keys every day on any affinity but void, and the reason for that is on a Sunday, when Iron Twins switches over to void affinity, you get double the rewards from farming Iron Twins. So basically every account should be farming at least void affinity of the Iron Twins Fortress. And here's how you're gonna do it, man. Right after a word from this video's sponsor, aka, well, the beginner promo link down below in the description box, man. If you ever look to start off a new raid account, man, it's a massive help to the channel if you do so by using the beginner promo link that is down below this video. Click on that link on laptop or PC and use that link to create your new raid account for all of the free stuff that you see on screen right now, including a free start legendary champion with Basilius Uranus and a few free epics that are just going to be gifted to your account and appear in your inbox as you level that account on up. Best beginner promo link going, and if you hear my cat screaming and raging in the background, it's because she was out at the vet clinic today, and she really likes going out for walks in a cat basket, and she wants to go out for a walk again now, but I got work to do, goddammit! What mechanics do you need to know about in the Iron Twins dungeon in 30 seconds or less? Okay, let's just break it down really fast. Keep it simple, man. Decreased attack and decreased defense debuffs are going to arrive on your champions on occasion. You can block these, you can obviously cleanse these. Your champions are also going to get Iron Brand debuffs. What do these debuffs do? Well, Iron Brand debuffs can't be removed, and the boss will always be increasing the duration of your Iron Brand debuffs, and the longer those Iron Brand debuffs get on your team, the more damage the boss does with its big smackaroo, the Doomsday Machine attack. You're on a clock, basically. The boss will also be gaining attack and gaining defense throughout the fight by using its A2 and its A3 skills, so you gotta be wary of that also. And you can mitigate a little bit of this attack and this attack and defense stat gainage that's going on with the boss by matching the boss's affinity. So if you can, try and squeeze some champions into the team, if not have an entire team of champions that match the affinity of the Iron Twins Fortress that you're going on into, but it's not the end of the world if you have like 2 or 3 champions on the team that are very good into Iron Twins that don't match the boss's affinity. Oh god, and the final mechanic that you really got to know about, and this one is the one that catches a lot of people out, is whenever the boss's HP drops below a certain percentage, it's going to remove all debuffs from itself and then attack all enemies. Also, the Iron Twins 10 meter is going to fill by 10% whenever an enemy receives a buff. So anytime one of your champions uses a buff, it's going to blast fill the Iron Twin boss's 10 meter, unless the Iron Twins is under a decreased speed debuff, which takes us neatly to, with Luna screaming in the background, takes us very neatly to the tools that you want to bring into Iron Twins. Man, decreased speed debuff. Massive, huge. You're going to bring a reliable, if not multiple reliable sources of decreased speed debuff if you can. If you don't, then every single time you use buffs on your team, you're going to send the boss's 10 meter out of control and the damage is going to ramp up very quickly against you. Besides that, increased defense buffs, AoE shields and AoE healing are going to be very nice. Debuff cleanse or just block debuffs buffs on your team are going to be very useful as well. Ally protection buffs can be pretty good. Just make sure you have a very tanky ally protect champion, because again, the boss's damage can stack up very quickly, and you don't want that ally protection champion to just die like Boromir. Spoilers for a 20-year-old movie. Decreased attack debuffs can help you out, but again, the boss will be removing debuffs off of itself every time you knock it below like a 20% health milestone. And for damage dealers, max HP damage dealers and HP burners are going to do just fine. And so behold, a budget option team that we've gone ahead and thrown together here for use in stage 15 of Iron Twins. What are we bringing to the table with this squad? Well, allow me to explain. Some of the best decreased speed debuffer champions that are on a shoestring budget include good old Kaiser D-pad. Yes, he's void affinity, but he's only a rare champion. If you're using Kaiser D-pad into Iron Twins, what you actually want to do is disable his A3 and disable his A2 and just have him spam his A1 over and over again against the boss. It's an attack one enemy plus an extra hit if this attack is a crit. The extra hit will place that decreased speed debuff for 210. So 100% crit rate, decent accuracy and high speeds on this guy, so he's just maintaining the decreased speed debuff as much as bloody well possible. He's also void affinity, so he doesn't weak hit into any of the other affinities as well. Great little cheat code rare champion. Another very solid option for the decreased speed is going to be Stagnite, who brings a double hitter on his AO1, each hit with a 50% chance of placing decreased speed debuff for a couple turns, and he'll also take care of decreased defense, decreased attack debuffs on his A2, which are helpful at the very least. But yeah, it's really about just blasting out his A1 as much as possible into Iron Twins. You can still allow him to use his A2 though, of course. The free legendary champion Vizix is also a pretty decent option into Iron Twins as well. She brings a decreased speed debuff on a 3-turn cooldown on her A2, as well as that ally protection buff. Again, you're probably going to need to build your Vizix in, like, we're talking, I don't know, 4 pieces of Immortal, 2-piece Defiant, or something nutty. She's going to be very tanky, because she will be soaking up a lot of damage, but she can, yeah, she brings some stuff. Other champs you can bring are basically just any champion that brings a less reliable decreased speed debuff on their A1 as well. Narox is a option that you can consider. Epic champion that was part of like a fusion recently. He was like a fusion component champion. Hopefully you collected at least 1 copy of him on your account while that event was active, because he does bring a double hitter A1. Again, just like Stagnite, basically the same skill as Stagnite, right? Chance to place decreased speed on a double hitter on his A1, which is saucy. And he does also bring ally protect as well. And so, you know, might be a little bit harder to keep alive than a Vizix, who's of course legendary champion quality, and so she's going to be a bit naturally, more naturally tanky than a Narox, but should be able to do pretty good for you with that A1 skill. Moving on to more support type champions that you can bring. Also, I think that Scathix actually also brings decreased speed as well. This is a Void Epic of the Lizardmen. I'm spotlighting him not because he's super easy to get being a Void Epic, but because I don't often see him mentioned in other videos. You know what I'm saying? He's a very kind of like middling Void Epic champ. Pretty good, not incredible. He doesn't make like the top 10 lists, you know, for a lot of people, but in Iron Twins he does kind of flourish, right? 50% land rate, decreased speed debuff on his A1, so you can combine him with something like a Stagnite. Then you get yourself a pretty reliable, pretty consistent form of having decreased speed up against the boss. And he also brings debuff removal and that block debuffs buff and a shield buff on all allies as well on his A3. It is on a 4-turn cooldown, but still, pretty good. A lot of what you need there, right? The decreased speed, as well as all of that debuff cleanse, and then the shields for some extra survival. Next up is good old Mithrala Lifebane. Yeah, I know, again, not mega budget, but everyone's going to get her eventually. You know what I'm saying? She brings all kinds of strength and buffs and shield buffs on an AoE, as well as debuff cleanse on her A3, and this is what she's really all about in this fight. She brings some other kind of useful stuff as well. Oh, the increased defense, actually, God. Again, she brings a lot of good stuff into Iron Twins as far as survival goes, right? Defense, shield, strengthen, yeah, very solid champion to bring along as your debuff removal and just survival option. I swore I'd get to the budget options eventually. There it is, man. Okay, good old Doomfree, so much more budget than the other two. Force Affinity Epic, very solid champion. She brings an increased attack buff, so make sure, again, you know, you shouldn't be increasing the boss's 10 meter as long as you're bringing good decreased speed champions to the table, then you don't have to worry about this buff causing any problems. Whoops. And then besides that, it's just all about her passive bringing heals and consistent debuff cleanse every single time that she gets a turn. And she also brings a speed aura in all battles as well for Force allies, and so against Force Affinity Iron Twins, she can be particularly good, but honestly, she can do a job against most affinities. Good old Seal of the Drakes can come in clutch here as well. She brings a, albeit pretty low land rate, decreased speed debuff on her A1, so again, she'd have to be combined with another champion that's bringing a less than reliable decreased speed debuff on their A1 skill as well. But yeah, she brings that on her A1, and of course she takes care of the job of healing on her passive, and then she brings a revive also on the A3, just in case of emergencies, you know what I'm saying? With Seal of the Drakes, in the teams I'll be showing her in, you do want to go ahead and disable her A2, because yeah, there's no point in her using this double hitter A2, she can't stun the boss, and you just want to spamming the A1 as much as possible, anytime where she doesn't have to revive, you know, so she can just keep this decreased speed up. Rector Drath, also a great AoE healer to bring. She just bring a decreased attack on her A1 for all that's worth. It's fine to bring along into Iron Twins, even if it does get removed every now and then by the boss. But she also brings AoE heals, and she brings Perfect Veil buffs, which is going to reduce the amount of AoE damage that you're taking, right? Which is an element of the Perfect Veil buff that I feel like a lot of people kind of sleep on. It's not to be slept on, man. It's a little bit of something. Good old Perfect Veil, as you can see right here, Perfect Veil reduces incoming damage against a target by 15%. It's not huge. It's not quite a strengthen buff, but It's not nothing, you know, it's a little bit of something. And finally, when it comes to your nukers, Royal Guard can be a great option. Royal Guard does bring along that big old ally attack aura in dungeons by 35%, so you can be a good candidate for aura lead as well into certain affinities. You're just looking for enemy max HP damage dealers though. Anybody who's bringing enemy max HP is going to clap the boss's cheeks, which is lovely. I think you all agree. The Iron Twins has some, what am I even talking about, man? Voluptuous cheeks? No, it doesn't. Royal Guard also brings a decreased speed on a foot. What am I even talking about? Royal Guard brings a decreased speed on his A3 as well, which is bloody lovely, and a decreased defense on his A1. So he brings the utility as well to just help speed the kill up, and an extra source of decreased speed. Good old Cold Heart is, of course, going to be another option. We don't really need to go too deep into Cold Heart. On a A3, yeah, big old smack, enemy max HP, not much more to say about that. Nice budget option. And you can even use good old Geomancer. In fact, it's a very, very specialized team that I'm not going to touch on in this video because it's like a whole other beast, building a Geomancer specific team where you almost encourage the boss to have more turns, like you don't apply the decreased speed at all, and you spam buffs in your team, and the boss just takes an ungodly amount of damage from the Geomancer. Bit weird, bit mental. Gonna be out of the a little bit out what's the term or word, out of the wheelhouse or whatever of a lot of players watching this, you know. So we're not going to cover that very, very specific and niche team in this video. Frankly, you can kind of get away with running any old damage dealer into Iron Twins. A better one is just going to speed up your run. Now, this is the team that I was planning on running on in, and now I just realized that Doom Priest is the only Force Affinity champion on the team, which probably isn't a good idea. We're going to be ramping the boss's damage way too quick, so instead of using Taragi, which is a champion I actually just didn't touch on, brings decreased attack on his A1 as well as shields and ally protects on his A3. Quite a solid champion, but I'm gonna try and shift around the Sill of the Drakes and the Taragi to other options. See if I can find some Force Affinity options for this one. And let's try something a little bit like this instead, man. Running the Rector Drath instead of the Sill, so she's bringing Revive, she's bringing the heals, she's bringing Veil, which is going to help reduce damage as well. And we're also going to throw in Sepulchre Sentinel, which is a champion that I didn't actually touch on this one either, but she's bringing a defense aura in all battles by 25%. She might do better as the aura lead, we'll see. She brings an increased defense and a block debuff buff as well on a 210 cooldown, decreased attack on the A1, and a chance of completely blocking incoming damage, 50% chance when an ally is attacked on a 110 cooldown on their passive. And so, yeah, for tankability, I think this team should do okay. I'll point out as well, the gear on my Sepulchre is not crazy unhinged. She's in like 4 pieces of Immortal and a couple pieces of Resilience gear. It's for the most part like pretty hand-me-down gear where the rolls didn't go so good or like a slack in speed and stuff like that. Now, I was going to go ahead and peel some gear off of all of these empowered epic champions to show this budget team in action against stage 15, but frankly, we probably lose. We probably die. Ideally, by the time you're getting, like, this is the thing with Iron Twins, man. You're in no massive rush to be blasting into stage 15, and oh my god, dude, I mean, look at how close we come to death already, man. Using a very, very budget option team like this, having a Reviver on the team like a Rector or a Sill of the Drakes might not be the worst idea for keeping your damage dealers alive. But yeah, Iron Twins getting towards stage 15 for the first time. I'd focus on trying to get there in Void Affinity first, because it's by far the most valuable stage to be pushing in and to be farming because of those double rewards on a Sunday. That's a big, big deal. Besides that, ideally, if you're pushing towards stage 15 of like Force Affinity Iron Twins, you've got like a Freya on your account. You've got some powerhouse legendary champions that are going to buy you so much time against this boss and are going to boost the hell out of you against this boss. Ideally, you're not using a Cold Heart in your stage 15 Force Affinity Iron Twins team. Ideally, you've got like some, like a bloody Volcanos, or like some badass Force Affinity legendary champion that's going to come on in there, be a lot tankier than a Cold Heart, and get the job done in terms of damage as well, you know. All of that is to say, don't sweat it that much. If you're not able to farm stage 15 of Spirit, Magic, Force Affinity Iron Twins for a while on your account, don't worry about that. Wait until your roster's just more developed. It's one of those things that will end up happening on its own most of the time, and now you know what tools to look out for. After watching this video, you can start like more proactively potentially building up legendary champions that are actually going to help you out here. The champions and like the budget option champions that I'm covering in this video, they're going to help you get a start. You know, they're going to help you get a start. There's going to be champions like Kerzad, for example, and like Sill of the Drakes and Rector, like good healers and support champs that you can use across many of your different teams, but ideally you want to be subbing out some of these more budget champion options with better options over time, before even thinking about pushing stage 15, really. I am curious though, can we actually do this? Can we actually make this happen? we are dropping pretty low on occasion. This big old Doomsday Machine smack just now was very, very terrifying. I should note as well that while you are on the clock against the boss... Oh god, it just cleansed all of its decreased speed debuffs. Hopefully we don't place any buffs in our team before the Kerzad attacks in. Okay, good, we didn't. So now Kerzad gets to attack in, get up the decreased speed again. Good stuff. But yeah, once you get the boss down below 40% health, by the way, it's scaling of stats are going to stop. You're no longer against the clock anymore. The boss is about as strong as it's ever going to be. And so that's good at least. It can no longer use its A2 and its A3 skills to be ramping damage, right? It's then going to be the big old Doomsday Machine smacks that are coming on in, okay? And so it's at 40% health. The boss is as strong as it's ever going to be, and that's the real test. Can you survive the smacks coming in from that, I guess, A4 skill? Oh, and there it is. We get the boss down below 40% health here, so now we can know... Oh god, now it's gonna come in with this big old... Oh no, dude, the Rector wasn't quite strong enough to live. Okay, so in this case, that was a damage dealer option. It just took us too long to get the boss down low. By the time we got it down to 40% health, the Coltat just wasn't quite cutting it anymore. Let's try exactly the same team, but with the Geomancer on the team instead. Okay, so the Geomancer's HP burn and does a reflect damage sort of passive mix, so every time the boss attacks on it takes this huge splash of basically reflected max HP damage. And so this is what I'm talking about, man, with refining your teams a little bit over time. It was probably doable with the Coltat team, to be honest. I could have tweaked the champions a little bit more here and there, but let's see if the Geomancer team can do it. He's going to be better fit against Force Affinity anyway at the end of the day, and yeah, as you can see, his damage is pretty nice, even if he is only a solo damage dealer in this team, which ideally you've got either one specialist damage dealer or a couple of damage dealers. So this time the boss is going to get below 40% health much bloody faster, and so we have just lower Iron Brand stacks at this point, and so its A2 skill just does a little bit less damage, right? So we've beat the clock a little bit better with this team now, with the Geomancer instead, which of course we did. It's a Geomancer, you know what I mean? But yeah. This is going to be team number 1, as Geo's about to deal another huge splash of retaliatory damage to the boss. Very, very nice. And we have one more big smack to survive, who reflect all of that damage with the Geo, and very, very good. Now, this was actually the alternate team that I was going to try out as well, running a couple of damage dealers, just trying to secure the kill a little bit faster, and making use out of the Stagnite and the random Hatatsu in this team for bringing increased defense and continuous heal, as well as a decreased attack. Again, this is a great defensive option champion to bring on in. The only issue is that he's weak affinity into Iron Twins, so I'm not exactly sure how this is gonna go right now. He's weak affinity, of course, into Force, so once again, I'm just gonna swap out the Syl for the Rector in the squad, just so we have at least a few Force affinity champions going into this. A little bit of adaptation is going to be necessary. And as for the Lemonisi, she's just here, literally, is just a random damage dealer. You know, any champion, damage dealer champion that's got some Awakening Stars, solid damage dealer, you can just throw on into Iron Twins against a certain affinity, and they should do fine and just help to speed the run up a little bit. And the very first thing that happens is that the Stagnite has his decreased speed fail to land on his A1. This seems a little bit risky because without the Syl of the Drakes, the Stagnite is the only champion that's bringing decreased speed on his A1 skill. So there is that to be a little bit concerned about as well. But let's see if we make up for that by just killing the boss faster. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, see how it goes. Lemonisi's going to swing on in. She's not doing a great, massive deal of damage. It's of course going to be the Geomancer, still going to be the star of the show here. But this is just to show that if you want to speed the run up a little bit and keep those Death Brand stacks a bit lower and stop the boss's damage ramping so much, and you don't have great survival tools on your account, couple of decent survival champions, in this case the Rector and the Hatatsu on the team, just keeping people alive, and we're just looking to speed the run up, right, because we're trying to beat the clock here. Only just occurs to me now as well that we are lacking a debuff cleanse on this team now as well, without the Doom Priest, without the Sepulchre Sentinel, and so let's see, man. Let's see if it all comes together. So far, the Stagnite's doing a very, very good job of maintaining decreased speed. He's going to come in again, and once again, gets that all-important debuff up. And this time, we're going to get the boss down to below 40% health very, very quickly indeed, which is great, in a minute and a half. I say very quickly, very, very quickly for a budget team. Oh, here we go. Here's the big old smacks. And so we are going to lose the Lemonisi here, but that's okay. We've got the revive ready on the Rectitrath when it next gets around to her turn, and we are getting the kill on the boss quickly enough that I think that we're going to have time to get this done before it really starts smacking the taste out of our mouths. Telling you, man, decrease speed, survival tools, max HP damage healers if you can, or at the very least, damage healers that match the affinity of the Iron Twins boss that you're going up against. And ideally, you've got some good legendary champion specialists and stuff to use in here instead of these budget option champions. Empowered and awakened as they may be, I can throw like a Freya into this team instead of the Hitatsu, and we could do this all day. Like, we survive for forever, pretty much, you know? And so there you have it, man. That's your Iron Twins budget choice champs. I almost definitely missed all kinds of budget option champions that you can take into specific affinities of Iron Twins, or maybe even into all affinities of Iron Twins. Feel free to go ahead and splash those down below in the comments, man, and help each other out, man. That's what we're all about on this channel, you know what I'm saying? Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you all did enjoy, man. We finally got around to it, man. The long-awaited Iron Twins guide all up and over here. Feels good to finally have it covered and added to the list of guides that we got rocking on the channel, man. If you're looking to create a new account, make sure to get that done by using the beginner promo link down below at the top of the video description box. Using that link to create a new Red account will get you all the free stuff that you see on screen right now. And I'm going to catch all of you all just a tad bit later, man.